After that episode, put respect on Scanlan's name.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Will, and it's that time again where we've got another 3 episodes of The Legend of Vox Machina to talk about in great spoilery fashion. That's right. This is episode 7 through 9 of The Legend of Vox Machina, my spoiler review. And yes, spoilers incoming. So you have promptly been warned of the spoilers that will be coming at you and hitting you in the face and just splooging? So, if you haven't watched the episodes, make sure that you pause this video and go watch them, and then come back and hear my overall thoughts on it. And like with all spoiler review videos, I'm going to just try to give my overall thoughts while pointing out a couple of the things, or a couple of big points of the episode that really kind of hit me and gripped me. You know, you've been on the journey enough, so hopefully you'll continue to join me on that journey. And if this is your first time joining me on this journey, why am I trying to talk with a British accent? I don't know. But if this is your first time checking out one of my videos, hi, my name's Will. I do this geeky thing on the internet periodically, once a week or so, and I have a good time with it. I talk about movies, I talk about other geeky stuff, but it's usually all with love and affection and passion and sometimes a little bit of drowsiness. But if that might be your bag, maybe subscribe to the channel. That would actually be really cool. It would really help me out. And I would love to get to know you and just talk about geeky stuff with you on the internet. So if you like this sort of thing, you know, help a brother out. There you go. But let's jump in to the newest episodes of The Legend of Vox Machina. It's getting dicey. We're getting up to that finale, and next week's gonna be pretty bombastic. So here we go. So, episode 7 picks up with them deep in the heart of Whitestone after they found out that Percy's sister, Cassandra, is still alive, and this has turned into a rescue mission. Now, they're gonna have to come up with a good plan to try to get in because they're short on forces, and although Archie is really pushing for Percy to kind of take the lead, Percy doesn't feel like he's worthy of taking the lead or taking ownership of his rightful heir to the throne title or whatever you want to call it. But Archie's a big part of these 3 episodes and really kind of set Percy down that path of leadership, that path of really uniting the people of Whitestone. Some of the behind the scenes, I understand that Archie was a different character altogether during Campaign 1, so they've kind of retooled him to have a more personal relationship with Percy and with the Derolos. And I think that's a good move, especially with trying to instill a lot of emotion and character relationships in a quick manner compared to having a long form series like the streams that you had when they were first telling these stories. So it's a very simple and easy trick to try to get character motivation across on screen in a very short amount of time. And I really like that about how they've set up Archie's character through the entirety of season 1. Another big person that benefited so much from this episode 7, was Scanlan Shorthall. The episode was titled, I believe, Scanbo, which I think is a nickname for like when Scanlan goes all out. And in this episode, he goes all out. They needed a big distraction in order to try to rescue Cassandra, and Scanlan steps up to help the team in the best way he knows how, by being obnoxious and being the center of attention, even though the team doesn't really take him seriously. And I'm really glad that he got this episode to shine. He basically infiltrated the home of like half giant, I think his name's Vedmir, and he is meant to cause a distraction, so he tries to burn the place down. But it doesn't go all that well when he basically encounters him in the bathroom and has to try to make his way through downtown? this abode to A, escape, B, to burn it down, and C, to try to cause enough of a distraction to get as many of the Briarwood forces away from the palace or the stronghold of Anders. I didn't get a name. It was just a big building that was guarded that Cassandra was being held in. Scanlan got to mess with some potions too, and these potions gave him very unique abilities, which were all fun to see. There was one that was kind of like having him teleport all over the place. There was like a shrinking potion, and there was one that let him breathe fire. And it was just a really fun sequence of events, and really showed his craftiness and his ability to improvise and get out of a situation. Even though if he's not the strongest, he's not the tallest, he's mainly a horny sex machine, but when it's time to throw down, he throws down, and he throws down really well. And he uses his brains and his charisma and his smarts. And I think it's just an awesome way to display and to give people a different side of the character, because as we've seen with the first 6 episodes, he's really been more of kind of the background comedy relief character who is basically a horn dog. But it's good that we were able to get this episode to really see him shine, and it just makes you as a viewer want to see him do more of this stuff and really prove to people that, yeah, he's more than just a pretty face and a horny libido. So it not only proves that to the audience, but it proves it to the team as well, which is really nice to see. Percy finally confronts Professor Anders. He was their teacher, their tutor when they were younger, but he was also one of the people who were instrumental in betraying the Derolos and leading to their ultimate demise. So he is on Percy's shit list, which we get the actual official name for his gun, which is the Pepper Box. It's the revolver 6-shooter that has all the names on it. And then we also get a lot of backstory about the Pepper Box and about this alternate hyper-violent, angry revenge version of Percy. I will just refer to him as No Mercy Percy because I think it's still a fun name. No Mercy Percy and the Pepper Box were all created from his anger and his desire for revenge when he was on the run and hiding out for those 5 years between the point when his family was slaughtered in Whitestone up to the point where he unites with Vox Machina. It's giving more of Percy's backstory and explaining more to not only the group but to the audience, what is this black smoke? What is all this stuff coming off of him when he switches in a heartbeat anytime one of these people that is on his shit list are in front of him? So it was a really cool scene. I'm like, Percy's just been through a lot of shit, and it sucks, but it also gives us this very complex and damaged character who doesn't want to be that guy. You kind of see it, even though he knows he needs this side of him in order to achieve his ultimate goal. You can see in the moments with him and Vex where there is that wanting to let go of a lot of that stuff. At least that's my interpretation of it. He seems to feel more at home with Vexalia than most of the people in the group. And that's the other thing with episode 7. We start seeing more of the relationship forming, not only with Keyleth and Vax, but with Percy and Vex as well. As Vex is starting to open up more and show more of a softer side to Percy, while at the same time still being kind of standoffish with Keyleth, which seems to just kind of stem from the issue that she is concerned with Keyleth and with Vax. Well, it seems a little hypocritical considering the fact that you clearly have a softness for Percy, but you're not cool with your brother getting with Keyleth a little bit. But it only seems like it's on the surface as much, because you can tell based off of their interactions when they're in combat or just as a team, Vex does have a level of respect for Keyleth and can be impressed by her at times, when Keyleth does that elemental manipulation of the clouds to send the signal after they rescue Cassandra. She does seem impressed a little bit and terrified, which she does say. So hopefully as the seasons go on, we'll see their relationship soften a lot more, and also see the other relationships have an opportunity to flourish as well. Episode 7 does end when they finally get to Anders and he has Cassandra held hostage, and Anders, like the dick he is, slices Cassandra's throat right in front of Percy. And that's where the episode 7 ends. That's why I'm kind of really glad they give us 3 episodes. They don't leave us on some of these really harsh cliffhangers like they have. Which is another thing that happens with episode 8 once they're trying to stop Anders and save Cassandra, who is currently bleeding out from the throat. But luckily Keyleth does her thing and is able to keep her from dying while the rest of the team go after Anders, who has the ability with a silver tongue, which is very interesting and allows him to control not only inanimate objects but other people. It's a really cool fight sequence. They have to get really clever with how they take down these big metallic armor things that are like stomping around and all that shit. Stomping around all that shit. But then Anders turns his ability on to the team to mind control not only Grog, but the rest of them to go after Percy. We get to see a lot more of the darker side of Percy and how it just kind of switches in and out. Because initially, once Cassandra was injured, like he goes straight into it. And you see the transformation, like his eyes go like dark black and they've got the like orange pupils, which is really cool. It's a cool visual on screen, and it definitely gives you the shift even without the Medicine Man mask. And I just think the transformation or the switching back and forth between the two different forms is really dope as hell. And also his takedown of Anders is very clever and very unique and super fucking satisfying. And there were moments when I was watching these 3 episodes, I was getting really into it. But it was a dope way he took him down and how he like cleverly played against his hubris and his strengths in order to buy himself enough time to pretty much shoot off his jaw. And yeah, it's very visceral. It's a visceral scene, but that's kind of how the series, I think that's one of the strengths of the series, that it's not like it's gory for gory's sake. And I think that could have easily been a turnoff for some people, because when you look at shows that I think use adult content to get more of a shock value than use it as a method to convey more emotion than just what you hear from dialogue or you see from people's expressions. So like a good example of something like that would be like The Boys, where I feel like sometimes The Boys is just hyper violent for violence sake, whereas it is hyper violent, and they do a lot of violent things during the episodes, or they remind you about things that have happened, like the incident with the villagers hung from the tree, and they linger on those shots, and they're visceral shots, but they serve a purpose, and I feel like that's one of the strengths of the series. After they take down Anders and they regroup with Archie and stuff, they're able to start trying to plan their next move. Unfortunately, Delilah gets wind of it and unleashes a zombie horde on our heroes and on the people of Whitestone, and then it just becomes just like a more extreme version of The Walking Dead, basically. Another thing about these 3 episodes that I think work really well, like also during episode 8, is that we get more of and a conclusion of Pike's journey to reconnect with the Everlight. She is, still at the temple trying to reconnect, and she always thought it was because of something Delilah did, but it was really because of herself. Because she feels like her time with Vox Machina and the things that she's done, she doesn't feel like it meshed well with her beliefs or with her faith. And I like how the Everlight helps her work through that. So we got Pike literally being an ex machina in episode 9, whereas everyone is trying to gather by the tree, trying to fight off the horde. Archie's dead. They're trying not to die, and Percy, through Archie's death, has basically accepted the charge and is like, I'm going to lead these people. And it starts to go south, but then, lo and behold, Pike shows up. And I don't know if anybody else felt this way, but when Pike showed up, I got the same feeling I got when Thor showed up in Avengers Infinity War. You know the scene.
Sup?
And it was pretty cool. And then just like Pike went full God mode and started just smiting everything. And it was actually really cool. But she wasn't physically there. It was her astral projection. It's really cool. And I'm glad that she's resolved her issue. And it seems like even though she's not physically there, she will be there for the rest of the last 3 episodes, which is dope as hell. I mean, overall, this episode really continued showing off Percy's development into the leader that he will become. Scanlan got a really great showing. Pike finally got a power up. And I love the fact that Keyleth continues to grow and continues to become even more of a badass character. But the episode ends as they're going through the dungeons trying to encounter Delilah and Silas. They encounter someone in a cell, and they're willing to hear the person out, but as soon as Vax starts to try to work on the cage, you see Percy walking right up with the smoke, because he wants to smoke, and puts Pepperbox right in this woman's face. So obviously this is another person on his hit list. Now that's going to possibly complicate a few things, because it seems like the rest of the team might want to hear this person out a little bit and see what they are all about. But Percy's rage is definitely starting to become a little bit out of control. And that's definitely going to be something I think the team is going to have to address in the next episode as they get closer to encountering Delilah and Silas and stopping whatever the hell they're planning. I feel like this is the penultimate episode. Like, the next 3 episodes should be going complete full throttle to get to whatever the plan that Delilah and Silas have, and what they have to do not only to stop them, but to remove them from their control of Whitestone, and just try to bring peace to it as well, and most likely save the world. I really did like this episode. I really did. I thought this was awesome. Like I said, I love the continued development of relationships, of characters. Even though Grog didn't get much to do in the episode, he did his Grog thing, and that's all we can really ask for. I love the inner jokes, like the fact that doors are still an issue for them in every single episode, and they take ample time to point that out. It's really awesome to see. Even Cassandra's supposed death fake out, when Keyleth was trying to heal her and the spell didn't work, and there was that weird pause and the music swelled, and she pops up. I'm like, I just feel like that's like a DM thing where they like to fake out the players. I hope Cassandra doesn't pull some sort of trick or some sort of double cross on the team, because she was a hostage of the Briarwoods for a long time. She says that she was also a spy for the Resistance, but I'm curious to see how that information got out. So there's something about it that feels slightly off. I'm hoping it's just my nerves a little bit, because I'm glad that Percy has his sister back. I'm really glad. But there's also always that lingering, what if she's like under Delilah's control? And it hasn't been officially proven otherwise. So if that's something that happens, try not to spoil it for me in the comments. But you can just, if you want to put a side eye in the comment, like, ugh, then that's fine. But we've got 3 episodes to figure that part out. It's interesting to see how the last 3 episodes are going to handle Delilah and Silas's plan. Hopefully we'll get all those answers. We should get all of those answers next week in the finale, what I'm really excited for. And I'm just continuing to love the show. I think the show is fantastic. It's found a way to take hundreds of hours of streams and just tabletop playing with friends and turn it into a very deep, compelling, complex story. And so I'm curious to see how they're going to adapt the rest of them, especially with season 2, and if this is going to wrap up completely next week, the actual Briarwood story, if it's going to wrap up 100%, and that would leave season 2 open for something else. So I'm very excited for next week for the finale. I can't say enough good things about this series. I'll probably say more about it next week with the finale. So hopefully you'll check out that video as well. Let me know anything else that I might have missed from the episode. I had a list and I just kind of ran with it, and I probably rambled a little bit more, but I am really excited for next week's last 3 episodes. And hopefully we won't have to wait too long for season 2, because I want more. I want more, and I want it all. That's all I can really say. So those are my thoughts of episodes 7 through 9 of The Legend of Vox Machina. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And let me know what you're hoping to see in the finale. If you've already been through this because you watched Campaign 1, again, I love to hear how you feel about the adaptation from the long form campaign series down to this shorter form series, and if you feel like it's doing it justice. I can't speak for that, but all I can say is I'm really enjoying it. And as for someone who didn't have the experience of watching the streams for Campaign 1, it's really easy, even for my husband, to get into the series, and he's never watched any of the streams. So for him to quickly get into it and really enjoy the series, I think is a testament of how well they've done with the show to get people who don't have that sort of experience into the series. That is my review of episodes 7 through 9 of The Legend of Vox Machina. Hopefully you've let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, thank you so much for watching this and all my videos. I really do appreciate it. You can follow me on all the social media platforms listed at the end of the video. A ton of videos on the channel right now that you're more than welcome to check out. I have done spoiler reviews for episodes 1 through 6. There are 2 videos on the channel now. Give them a watch if you want to catch up and hear my thoughts leading into next week. I also have a spoiler review for season 1 of the Book of Boba Fett. Check that out if you are a Star Wars fan. Yeah, that's it. Let me end this video because I'm just rambling. Like, share, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. And as always, until next time, I will catch you later. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you did like this video, why not give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends? You can subscribe to the channel by clicking on my gorgeous little face right over there. You can follow me on all the various social media platforms right below. And last but certainly not least, if you've got a few extra minutes, why not check out one of the lovely videos floating right over here. Later.